ever look up at the stars and think about all the incredible stuff we've sent out into space?
Yeah.
Well, today we're going to be diving into a side of space exploration you might not expect.
Okay.
It's the world of space junk.
Yeah. And it's a lot more complicated and a lot messier than people might think.
You know, you hear space junk, you think like, oh, an old satellite or two.
Right. Exactly.
But we're really talking about millions of pieces of debris.
Yeah, pretty much.
Everything from like little flecks of paint shipped off of rockets
Oh, yeah.
to entire defunct spacecraft, and all of it zipping around our planet at crazy high speeds.
It's a problem.
And it's got, I gotta say, some pretty mind-blowing stuff in here. Like, for instance, did you know there are over 500,000 pieces of debris larger than a centimeter out there?
Yeah, it's an incredible amount of junk, and it really highlights how dangerous this debris is to everything else that's up there.
It's like a cosmic minefield.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
What happens if even one of those pieces hits like a working satellite, or even worse, like a manned spacecraft?
Yeah, I mean, even we're talking like 3 millimeter speck of paint can cause significant damage at those speeds.
Oh, wait.
Yeah.
And this is where it gets really interesting, because the material of the debris actually has a lot to do with how dangerous it is.
Yeah, that's true.
I never would have thought of that.
Yeah, the paper, it talks about how the material affects the density of the debris, but it's not always the case. The research actually highlights how less dense debris can be even more dangerous over the long term.
It's like adding more cars on the highway blindly. Like the more there are, the higher the chances of a collision.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's a good analogy. One of them being the 2009 collision between Cosmos 2251,
right,
which was a defunct Russian satellite,
yeah,
and Iridium 33,
yeah,
which was a working U.S. communication satellite. Like the intentional destruction of the Chinese satellite Fengjin 1C in 2007.
right.
Now, what was that all about?
Well, that was part of an anti-satellite missile test. Well, it starts with orbital mechanics.
Okay.
Researchers use something called Keplerian elements to kind of chart out this cosmic junkyard.
Keplerian elements?
And so by tracking these Keplerian elements for, millions of pieces of debris, scientists can start to create a really detailed map of, this junkyard in the sky.
A debris GPS.
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah, so the paper it goes into detail about active debris removal,
right.
ADR.
Right.
And the Hoover Capture System, or HCS, is one of the ideas that's out there for how to actually capture this debris and remove it.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
It's about, making sure we can keep doing this.
It's about the future.
For generations to come.
Exactly.
It's about, responsible space exploration.
Well, hey, thanks for taking this deep dive with us.
My pleasure.
Really appreciate it. And we'll catch you next time for another fascinating look at the world around us.
That's good.